And we are live. Welcome to another Super Galactic Saturday. I'm Jerry Sr. with Jerry Jr.
Good morning.
And we're having a beautiful Saturday morning once again. Another good, beautiful day. Any day above ground is a good day. So I am thankful for today. And yeah, it's cold. We're definitely in the winter months here, and at least in California,
It's cold for some
we're
people.
averse to cold, any kind of cold. So I'm sure those Midwesterners out there look at this like nothing. It's the summertime, right? So, but here it's cold and feels good though. It feels starting to feel like Christmas. So, and Merry Christmas. I hope you guys out there had a great Thanksgiving, and hope you spent it with friends and family and loved ones. And I hope you enjoyed it. And just be thankful. So, and I am certainly. I definitely spent it with people I cared about, and I'm definitely thankful for that. So, and I'm thankful for you guys joining us today. We appreciate your time and attention, and we always appreciate any support you can give us. So, thanks once again. And yeah, we got a few things we're going to talk about. Some big news this week. I'm sure many of you already heard about the big Warner Brothers Netflix deal that's going through, and I don't think it's finalized yet. But yeah, it's it looks like it's probably going to be Netflix. I think Paramount might be pushing back, trying to force Warner Brothers to accept their bid, claiming that it's better. It sounds like they did offer a little more money. I think Netflix was offering like $28 a share, and Paramount was offering 30 with some
Oh,
additional perks. So it sounds like maybe they prefer Netflix for other reasons besides money.
without the word per share, I was going to be very confused. So I was like, $28.
Yeah, per share, folks, per share. So, and you're talking a minimum probably 5,000 to 10,000 shares. So, yeah, we're talking about millions upon millions of dollars. I believe the total was like 72 billion, something like that. So, yeah,
Yeah, sounds more appropriate.
it's a decent price tag here.
Like,
So,
here's my entire library of movies. I'll give you 250.
250. So, yeah. It's kind of interesting times we're living in. And when you think about it, what it boils down to is technology, right? All this is happening because of technology, right? Because of streaming. Like that's something to really kind of wrap your head around. Like without streaming, where would any of these companies be? Would they be selling off and all these different things? Maybe not, right? If they're still using the theater model, right? Which it seems to be failing for many reasons. One of which, in my opinion, is low quality movies. I think there aren't enough good movies that are coming out that enough good movies that covers the gamut of the marketplace, right? Because not everybody's into the Marvel universe, right? Or other superhero stuff, right? Some people want horror, some people want action, some people want suspense, romance, and collectively, there just isn't enough good content out there that covers the gamut, right? And that's really the problem. And a lot of people don't want to talk about that, but that is what's happening. And then on top of that, of course, the economy is not great. Inflation is kicking everybody's butt. Prices are just getting higher without giving us more, right? Like we're not
Yeah.
getting more for the more we're paying, and that's a big problem, for a lot of folks. So, and that's something that needs to be addressed as well, and it's really not being addressed, and that's why these companies are just kind of, oh, we'll just sell off these assets, we'll just do this or that, because that's their solution, right? And it might work in the short term, but in the long run, they still have to, like Warner Brothers still has to improve their content, like their I would say stuff prior to the last maybe 15 years is probably fine, right? Like great, excellent. But more recent stuff hasn't been that good, right? It hasn't been very good at all. And that's, they have a failed superhero universe. and they tried to revamp it with James Gunn's Superman, right, to kick it off. Um, and it's been kind of meh, right? It's been kind of lackluster. So um, it wasn't a big, you know, tent pole uh, $1 billion franchise they wanted to be, right? So and it's unfortunate, but it's true. They're not putting out great stuff, and I'll be honest. I kind of resent some of these creators like James Gunn, and
Why?
I don't. Well, because I think they purposely sabotage a lot of this stuff. Like they know how to create good stuff, and they choose not to. They choose to do
Well,
what they feel like doing instead of doing what they know is objectively good, and that bothers me. That annoys me. It's just like
well,
let me compare it to M Night Shyamalan, right? When he did Unbreakable, right, which was excellent. He did what's the other one? The guy when the guy turns into the beast, right? Man, I wish I could remember
um,
the title.
is that an M Night Shyamalan movie?
It is M Night Shyamalan. It was the guy that played Professor X, the young Professor X. Remember?
Oh,
The
I never
character.
saw
I
that.
think it was called Beast or Monster or something. Then they combined it into he put into this universe where they coexist.
Oh, is it the dude with? Was that the dude with multiple personalities?
Yes, exactly.
Oh, I know what movie you're talking about.
Malvoy, I think that's his last name. But anyway, so then he makes Glass, right, which is the culmination of those two stories, and he completely craps all over it, right? He literally just does it to give a big middle finger to people who actually love superheroes and actually enjoy superhero and
Is
comics.
is that actually why he did it?
Yeah, it is. Um, he doesn't like he didn't like the Marvel universe at the time. It was wildly successful. It was at its peak. It was a commentary against that. That's literally why he did what he did. And he literally just kills off those characters and it's just done. And for no other reason other than just being a jerk. I'm
I don't
serious.
understand.
That's really why
Well,
he did. He instead of saying, "Hey, maybe I could do something different and something special and something that tells a real story that's grounded, that deals with real emotions and real characters and how someone who maybe is exceptional in an environment among people who are not exceptional, right? And how does he navigate and what kind of impact does that have on society, right? Instead of like exploring these questions, right, in an honest way, and yes, maybe even having some fun with it, he decides, well, how about I just go, superheroes are dumb and you're dumb for liking them. And that's basically what he did. And he made a terrible movie and
yeah,
it,
that
it
seems to be a trend.
it was crap. It did terrible in the box office, which it should have. You know, it's like you have these power hitters in your movie, like Samuel Jackson. Um, it's like, what are you doing? You're just wasting their time, right? So, and that's kind of what I'm saying. Like these creators, because they're so they have a very postmodern mindset. That's number one, and a very nihilistic mindset, and two, they're pretentious and so they create garbage and they know it's garbage, right? But they don't care. In other words, they create what they feel like doing, right? Even though they're not paid to make what they feel like doing, they're paid to make something that's objectively good and entertaining to a mass audience. That's really why studios hire directors to direct movies, right? And writers to write movies is write something and direct something that will appeal to a broad audience and bring in money, right? But instead, they go, no, I'm going to put in my personality and my quirks and my, you know, whatever nuance worldview into the content. And I don't care if anyone likes it or not. And guess what happens? Most people don't like it.
Well,
And
you know, it's
therefore, it
funny you
doesn't make
say
money.
that. It's funny you say that because this is just Rorschach all over again, right?
Yes, it is.
I'm just thinking about the M Night Shyamalan thing.
You're right.
It's just
Exactly.
like, no, you're not supposed to like this person I'm making fun of, right?
Yeah,
But it's
exactly.
like it's not really up to
That's literally
you
that's literally the mentality.
who your audience gravitates to, right? But I
It's not.
also think
Yeah.
about Dispatch, the new game that just came out, Dispatch.
Yeah.
It's doing gangbusters because it's made by people who actually like superheroes.
Yeah, they care about and
And
they
it's
care about
funny
storytelling.
because
They care about
yeah,
they. It's like they get the nuance and like sort of the silliness of superheroes, right?
yeah,
But at the same time, they still show up an appreciation by giving them real character arcs and real stories, right? And
yeah,
treating the material with a bit of respect, right? Like say, hey,
yeah,
let's actually entertain people with this stuff. Like, yeah, we can do some tongue in cheek, here and
yeah.
there.
There's nothing wrong with
There's
that,
nothing
but
wrong
it's
with that.
like
Yeah,
it's
but
a
it's
it's an actual like story that feels like it feels like a lived in world. And
well, it feels like a story, like a classic
well,
story that you're supposed to actually enjoy and not be demoralized by.
I mean, yeah,
That's
but
what I'm saying. Like it's a
what
story.
I'm getting at, well hold on, because what I'm getting at is that yeah, every story is a story, but but yeah, you're right. It's not like a deconstruction of the superhero genre. It's just a superhero story where the superheroes are treated like you know actual people, but it's not done in a way to where the best way I can put it is that all the characters are likable to some degree, right?
Yeah,
And the story, because it's a visual novel, right? It's a choose your own adventure type of deal. Most of the storytelling power is in your hands. So uh,
yeah, that's right.
people like that kind of thing,
Yeah,
and I think that the way that the characters are handled, from what I've seen so far in the game, I think like I see why it's so popular because it's not like especially since because there's two superheroes in particular, Blonde Blazer and uh, her boyfriend. I forgot his name. He's the Superman archetype. Everybody
yeah,
expected them to become evil at some point, and they never do. They're just superheroes
yeah, right.
with flaws, but they're not like they don't become evil at any point because people would just expected that at this point because we got Invincible and the Boys and a bunch of other stuff. It's like no, they're just they're just heroes,
Yeah,
and it's like it's refreshing that we don't get something that sort of like we're gonna make them seem like horrible people. They're actually evil. It's like no, they're just superheroes with flaws, and then you got to navigate around it. And it's great. Everybody loves it, and it's proof that you don't have to like constantly try to you don't have to constantly try to deconstruct superheroes to tell a compelling story.
exactly, and that's kind of where I'm getting at. It's always about deconstruction rather than about expressing a story theme or an idea,
Yeah,
and doing it in an authentic way, and that's kind of the problem I have, and I think a lot of these current day creators, directors, etc. They really don't understand. They don't see themselves in the mirror. Like they don't understand why people don't like their content, and so because they're in this bubble, you know,
yeah,
and everybody tells them they're fine, and they're not. They're drowning. You know what I mean? It's like being
yeah.
in a burning building, and people are yelling at them, "Get out! Get out!" And they're standing there and they're saying, "Well, I don't like the way you're telling me to get out." Right? And it's okay, then just die in the burning building, right? And that's kind of where they are.
Oh,
And there's people next to them in the burning building saying, "Oh, see how mean they are? That they're yelling at us." Right? They're telling us to
yeah,
get out the burning. It's like, no, we're trying to help you. We're trying to tell you, like, hey, don't do this, do this, right? And that's really all it is. And they don't want to hear that because their bubble keeps telling them that they're fine, you know. And it's like, well, you're not. Like, your approach to this is way off, and that's why it wasn't successful. It's like with the Acolyte series, right? Even now, they still don't get it. They still blame fans and toxic YouTubers or something. Right? It's like it's
I
always this
mean,
externality. It's
who
never,
cares? They failed.
but
It's
it's
like
like it's never introspection. It's never going. You know what? Maybe we could have approached it differently. right? It's just
I
a,
mean,
it's,
but do you
you
expect
know,
anything other than that from?
I do. If you're a human, if you're someone who has, the ability to experience sympathy and empathy, and you know,
Well, you
it's
see, you say that, and I
you
always say this:
understand.
the people who are most vocal, and these are the same people who are the most vocal on empathy and stuff like that. They're the least empathetic people. If
Yeah,
you have to verbally say, "I'm a good person," then you're probably not a good person.
you're not a good person. Yeah, yeah, I agree with that. Uh, and that's what's like really frustrating, and I guess, and like I said, people like James Gunn, while he seems like he's on your side and I'm gonna give you guys this great universe, it's like he's really not. He's in the same boat, um, doing pretty much the same thing.
Well, you say that as if you know he doesn't like the. I mean, the movies obviously have fans, right?
It does. It has some fans. It's a, but it's still a mediocre for a Superman movie. It is a bit mediocre, right? Um, and with decades of material, not just in comics but in animation form, as well as television, as well as previous movies, right? It's like at this point, there's just no excuse, right? it's like it's like the looking at electric cars, right? After decades and decades of gas combustion vehicles, and even having electric cars back in the day, right? There's some lessons that could be learned. Would you not agree, right? So when I see an electric car and it still has functions from 100 years ago, right? That's a
Yeah.
problem, right? It's like you're not learning lessons here, right? Elon Musk or whoever, it's like what's happening, and that's the same with movies and with storytelling. It's like there's volumes, like individual nobodies, right? Like us, we can't get away with telling a terrible story. We're not going to make money, right? We're not going to get attention. We're not going to get a following if we tell
Yeah.
garbage stories. That's facts, right? But these people are insulated from that because they're part of this, Hollywood, whatever. They got this contract with the studio.
Hmm.
A lot of times these executives, they don't have a clue. They don't know what they're doing. So, just like you find out, like Netflix was paying gobsmacks amounts of money to these creators, these directors, and they're blowing it on food and clothing and cars, and they're not producing a single minute of content, right? You
Cars.
understand? They just, yeah, like it was a scandal. A couple of people they signed on gave them like $80 million. I don't, and they're blowing the money, and now they're getting sued, of course. But it's like that's what I'm saying. Like they're clueless. They're just throwing money at people because I like this guy, or they
I
represent
see.
the proper ideology. That kind of nonsense. But they're not looking at quality. They're not like K-pop Demon Hunters is an accident. Like it's wasn't purposeful. It was. I'm serious. I don't think they produced it. I think they acquired it from like Sony, right? You understand? Like
Yeah.
they acquired it and then they released it. Just like a lot of other movies, like Netflix just acquired. And other studios do the same. They acquire something, right, and then they release it and they get lucky. You understand? Like because it happens to be a actual good movie, right? It did
Yeah.
well, right? Just imagine if it was released in theaters, it probably would have did really great with the right marketing, right? It probably would have hit half a billion or more, right? Who knows, right? But because they made it fit conform to their model, right? So it was a digital release, of course, streaming, but it's been doing great, right? It's gone viral, all these different things. I
Yeah.
even think one of the songs won, or at least was nominated for a Grammy or something, right?
Hmm.
So you understand it's like, but that's not their business model. You
Are
know
you
what I mean?
talking
Like,
about? You talking about K-pop Demon Hunters?
yeah, that's what I said. K-pop demons,
Oh yeah.
right?
I mean
It,
that
it,
it did
it
better than just one Grammy. It. I think it's
Oh,
probably.
that's
I
what I'm
think
saying. I think it won a Grammy or is nominated or something, right? Like for for the song track, the
yeah,
soundtrack.
the soundtrack. Yeah,
That's what I'm
I think
saying. Like it's doing very well
it beat a bunch of records.
because it's objectively good. That's
Yeah,
my point. But
yeah,
I don't think Netflix kind of knew it was good. I think they're like, this might work. Let's put it out there.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
what I believe. And then it's like, oh, and then people like it, right? So, and that's all I'm saying is
Hmm.
it's like their model has been kind of like Disney, where they're acquiring properties, but they're not necessarily producing their own original. Some of them they are, but a lot of it is they're acquiring it. You know, that's why a lot of it's hit and miss. Because they're kind of just grabbing up stuff. So no no real direction. I don't know. It doesn't seem like it. But I digress. It's like I don't know. It's like it'd be nice to get um, our tours who actually want to just tell stories. Like tell good stories. You understand? Like not just pour yourself into a story, but tell a story with it. Even if it's a reflection of your experience or your worldview, that's fine. But like make it a good story, right? A story first, ideology like third or
Yeah.
fourth. So that's kind of what I'm saying. And I'm not saying like with James Gunn's Superman that was ideologically driven. I don't think it was necessarily, but I think with him it's more personality driven. You know what I mean? Like he can't help but put himself into it. So that's why it still feels like a James Gunn movie. Like you can see certain scenes where it's like, yeah, that's James Gunn. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
I think a good director will be kind of invisible at times, right? Especially when
Hmm.
he's working with something that's kind of outside of his normal wheelhouse. You should be invisible. We shouldn't know that this is you. We should find out and go, oh, that's you, right? Like that's how it should be. But
I see what you mean.
it's like he can't help himself, I guess. You know, but yeah, that's kind of my gripe you know this with Hollywood in general.
That's what grinds your gears.
It does. It's because, like I said, I do think they do it on purpose. I don't believe that they honestly believe some of the stuff they're doing is objectively good. I think they know, oh, this is going to piss a lot of people off,
I, I
and they do it, and they do it anyway. That's what I think. Not in so many words, but I'm saying they don't care about entertaining you. They care about inciting you or just getting their, you know, hammering out their ideology through story, right? And when I say hammer, that's what I mean, hammer versus, nuance and subtlety. You
I
understand? Like
guess.
taking advantage of subtext, things like that. No, we got to just be blatant with it, right? So that's what I'm saying. And it's on purpose. It's not incidental or accidental, you know. So it's like, it is what it is. But I think that's current day with a lot of creators. And I'm hoping, but if you look at the independent space, you see the opposite, right? You see creators trying to produce just cool, fun stories. Like that's it. It's just cool and fun. Um, maybe there's a message, maybe not. Maybe it's just like, hey, just this is a fun adventure, and that's it. Cool art, cool story, cool characters. You know, like there's no deep commentary. you
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
it's escapism, right? And I think in the coming years, escapism will be the sort of the antidote for a lot of people, right? They're going to want escapism, not lecturing. I mean, I don't think anyone ever wanted that lecturing, but we especially don't want it now because for a lot of folks, times are hard and challenging. The economy is not friendly, and it's like if I'm going to spend some dollars on something, right? A song, a movie, a comic, it better make me feel good by the time I close that last page, right? When I turn that last page, I should have a great feeling in my heart and in my soul, right? Like you understand what I'm saying? Like at the
Yeah.
end of that movie, when the credits start rolling, I better feel very satiated and content, and hopefully maybe even happy, joyful, right? Do you understand? Like that's what people are going to be looking for. They're not going to be looking for, oh, that was a great politically, socially sensitive message about carbon footprints and misogyny, right? That's like, you can miss me with that, bro. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want any of that nonsense, right? I don't have time for it. I'm living my life. I don't have time for your virtue signal. You know, you can go to a march, go to a protest and virtue signal all day, all you want. I don't care. But when it comes to entertainment that you're asking me to pay for, you need to give me what I want, what I'm going to respond to. And that's especially true, well, for anyone, but especially men. I think we're like, man, we're done. Like, I'm not supporting this garbage that's spitting in my face.
You
you know,
know, it's funny. I mean, you mentioned that when you talked about like feeling good and after watching the movie, I always think back to when I showed you the Penguin movie.
oh, yeah,
No, you didn't know, like, you didn't know what to expect, and
I did.
I didn't know what to expect either. But
Yeah.
like I've never felt as good watching a movie than watching. And if you know what I'm talking about, we talked about it before. The Club Penguin movie. It's not Club Penguin, but it's the meme. But it's the Penguin Monogatari. However you say it in Japanese. But for Suntory beer and all that.
Yeah.
But it was like it felt like such a classic, like it felt like such a classic movie. And like by the time I watched, like, finished watching it, I'm like, man, that was beautiful. Like,
Yeah.
you felt so good because
Yeah.
the
That's
story was
exactly right.
great.
Even
The
even though,
soundtrack was great. I still listen to the soundtrack. I can never forget. I can't get that harmonica out
yeah,
of my
but
head.
even though it doesn't start off on a light note, right? It starts off pretty deep and pretty, you know, pretty intense, but it ends in the exact opposite, right? Like it, and it's a beautiful, it is a happy ending. It's a classical happy ending, right? But it's a happy ending that's earned. And that's the part that people forgot about when they started to diminish happy endings and become cynical towards them and saying, oh, it's such a trope and this and that.
Yeah,
It's like, or it's lame, right? It's like, no, happy endings are great, right? A story that ends on a happy note or a high note is a beautiful story if the character earned it. And that's the difference. Is I think the problem is maybe we had too many stories where it didn't feel earned. That's fair. We can find, like, cherry pick some movies and TV shows or whatever. And
sure,
sometimes
but
you didn't have it end at all. Like some like shows. I was just watching this sort of brief biography about Give Me a Break, right, with Nell Carter. It was one of my favorite shows as a kid, and
yeah,
how the show was such a great show. It was a great hit. People loved it, and uh, but it never ended. There was never like a conclusion. They kind of just canceled it, and that was that. And that happened to a lot of good shows in the 80s and even the 70s and into the 90s, where you had these shows that had great characters, people loved it, they got into it, and then they just abruptly get canceled
yeah,
because maybe the ratings drop for some, or there's like conflict behind the scenes, stuff like that. And it's like, yeah, that kind of leaves you a bit cynical, right? So I think that's part of kind of where a lot of that comes from. And it's like, but listen, if the character earns that happy ending, like you look at something like Forrest Gump, which is one of my favorite movies,
yeah. Same
Tom
here.
Hanks. And at the end, he's got a kid. He has a son, and it's his son, right? And it's like, and it's confirmed, when they do the scene, they're waiting for the bus, I think, and
Yeah,
they both tilt their head the same way, right?
yeah,
and,
yeah, yeah,
and then when he first sees them when they watch the TV, he does the same, right? And it's like that's confirming that, yeah, this is his kid, right?
Yeah.
and it's like there's no question now. Like it is his, and that's a beautiful thing, And at the end, it's like he earned that, right? He went out into the world and he got his lumps and bruises, and right? He
Yeah.
went through ups and downs and all these different things, whirlwind of a life, and by the end, right, he ends up with a beautiful child that's his, right? A legacy, right? All the things he's done at the end of the day would have been tragic because he didn't have a legacy. He didn't have children, right?
Yeah.
But he now he has a legacy as a child, right? So that's kind of the point. Like that's the beauty of that movie. That's a great ending, and it was
Yeah.
earned. You don't
Yeah.
feel you don't feel cheated or anything. You don't feel like it's lame. You don't feel like it's like, oh, that was dumb. It's like, no, you're like, oh, great. Like of all the characters in this movie, he deserved that. Like you feel that.
Absolutely.
You feel that, right? And it's like that's what I'm saying, and that's what a story should do when it has a happy ending. Is it has to feel earned by that character, right?
Yeah.
That means you got to bring that, put that character through the business, right? But
Yeah. I mean, I
you know,
always think about American Tail. You know that
yeah, yeah, that's right. Yeah,
that's a crazy whirlwind of a movie. Um, like Fievel goes through a lot, right? And it's just about I just want to see my pants again.
yeah,
But yeah,
yeah,
it's like, but the Penguin's Memory, that's what it's called. That was like the last time I really felt satisfied after just watching a long movie. And I don't like watching a lot of movies. I mean, my dad already knows. I'm not a big movie. Well, I wouldn't say I'm not a big movie person, but I don't like watching a lot of. I don't like watching a lot of movies, and after we saw Penguin's Memories, we went and watched immediately went to go watch the Fantastic Four movie, and at that point I'm like, I don't want to go see. I don't want to go see that. Even if I know I might enjoy it, I'm not going to enjoy it on the level that I just sat and watched this movie about talking penguins. You know?
yeah. You're right, and it definitely fell short. Um,
Yeah,
I mean, and I'm talking about Fantastic Four.
yeah,
It
yeah, yeah.
definitely falls short. Like it's not as satisfying as I think it should have.
Yeah, because a lot of the emotionally charged moments were sort of uh, manufactured. If that
Yeah,
makes any
they
sense.
felt manufactured for sure. Yeah, I agree.
It didn't feel
Um,
natural, as opposed to all the drama in Penguin's Memories felt natural. Like it felt like the progression of his life.
yeah,
Mike.
yeah.
Or
I agree. It's unfortunate, but you're right. There's a lot of scenes that don't
And that's the thing about watch like when you
they don't
watch. And
feel
that's the
like
thing when you watch new movies and then you watch old movies. Like I went and I rewatched Rambo, right?
yeah,
And the part where he's breaking down about his friends dying and you know about how he's just trying to hold a job, right? It's never over speech, right? He's like, Rambo, it's over. It's never over, right? And he goes through the whole thing. Like that felt like earned, right? Because he's been trying to live normally, but because at that point everybody has such a vendetta against Vietnam vets so much they like bully him and he goes crazy. So yeah, it's never over, and you just feel sad.
yeah.
So it doesn't the speech never felt forced. But like at the end of the Superman movie, for example, the whole speech about him being a human being, like we didn't need all that. Like it just
Well,
felt manufactured.
yeah. It felt like okay, go. You know,
Yeah,
like okay, this is the part, right? And you're right. There was nothing that. Well, I don't know. I mean, everyone's gonna have their take on it, but yeah, it was like it wasn't. It didn't feel like it was earned, right? It's all. It reminded me of the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and how at the end you had the Falcon lecturing the politicians. You know, after he defeats.
Yeah, he doesn't say anything meaningful. He just says you need to do
Yeah,
better.
do
It's like, what does
better,
that
better,
mean?
Congressman. And it's like,
It's
okay,
so stupid.
yeah, like what are you talking about? Like it.
Don't call the terrorists, you
Right.
racist. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, exactly. It makes no sense. Like there's a lot wrong with that show, but that was not a
Stupid.
satisfying ending at all. It was very unsatisfying because it was very pretentious.
Yeah,
Right? Like you reject the shield, and then you take it back when you should have kept it in the first place. You know what I mean?
I know.
Because you don't like the guy that wielded it because he killed a bad guy.
I
Like that
know.
doesn't make sense. I don't
It's.
know. It doesn't.
But yeah, that's the thing. It's like
It's a lot of
the
nonsense.
creators are trying to make righteous judgment seem evil, and it's not.
Yeah, and that's the other part. It's like what I was saying before, where we're talking about storytelling is telling the truth, right?
Yeah,
And the reason why a lot of stories don't do well is because they're not honest stories. They're not, and people sense that, therefore they reject it, right? When stories are telling you something that's truthful, that's honest, they don't reject it; they embrace it, right? And I think that's what's happening with some of this stuff is these stories is that they're not as successful as they could be because there's not enough truth in the story. It's like Superman being meh. It's because he didn't push the truth aspect of it far enough, right? The truth about Superman, the truth about truth, justice, and the American way, the truth about good versus evil, right? Things like that. He didn't
yeah.
really push it far enough, and he relegated it to a lecture at the end, right? When he's like, I'm just human," It's like, well, you're not human. You're an alien. You're from another. You're literally not human.
Yeah,
It's not about being human. It's about being righteous, and that's the part cynical people or nihilistic people want to reject, right? Because righteousness reflects God, right? Superman reflects a godliness, right? And we want to try and obscure that by saying, no, it's just about being human. It's like, no, it's not, right? Humans aren't righteous. Humans are, you know, basically we're terrible people for the most part, but we're compelled to do good things because of many things, mainly because we have a righteous God, right? And that's all throughout nature, and it's reflected in creation itself. And we try to be good because we know our creator is good. We inherently instinctively know that, right? Whether we want to admit it or not is another question. That's another conversation, right? But
yeah,
you understand. And so when you're being dishonest in your storytelling, and I don't mean necessarily like James Gunn is intentionally a liar, right? That's not what I mean. What I mean is that, like I pointed out before, he's putting his cynicism and his spin on things, and that may not calculate to being true, right, or
right.
truthful, and it's definitely not going to be something that most audiences are going to resonate with, right? And so when it's reflected in your story, it's like the audience picks up on it. It's like, oh, okay, it was all right. Why? Because what they're really saying was, yeah, there was some truth, but not enough, right? that's kind
Yeah,
of what they're saying. Oh, it's kind of truthful, but not really, right? And that's kind of what they're saying. And I really do think there's something to that because some of the greatest stories ever told, right? A Most of them emanate from scripture, from the Bible, right?
yes,
But many of them are from, yes, Greek mythology and things like that. But they're all about some type of inherent and universal truth that we all understand, right? Jealousy, anger, fear, excitement, family bonds, betrayal, love, hate, vengeance, right? You go on and on, right?
Well, I mean, that's pretty abstract. I would say it's. I mean, you mentioned it earlier, right? Family bonds. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
uh,
But
uh,
that's what I'm saying. Like, even look at the most ridiculous franchise on the planet, probably right now, is Fast and the Furious, right? And but what
oh,
makes that franchise work is and it gets made fun of. It's become a meme now, right? It's about family, right? Right? Oh,
Yeah,
family. But it's like that's true because we understand that that's true. We do that when we are out in the real world. We form friendships that become like family, right? Right? How many of us can say we had a best friend that was like a brother, right? Like things like that. It's like, yeah, that resonates with us. You understand? That's why they put it in there because they understand, hey, this is a eternal and universal truth that when people come together and have a shared objective and a shared existence and a shared right, they feel like family.
for the
So
record, this is one of my favorite images of all time. On a second,
let's just say because family. Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
it's just
whatever.
dinosaur.
Yeah, dinosaur. Yeah, because family. But it's true, right? That's part of why this meme is funny because we know there's a certain
Yeah.
truth. That's part of like that's a big foundational principle of comedy is they a lot of comedians, especially some of the most successful comedians, they tell you the truth,
Yeah,
and we
that's
laugh
true.
at it, right? Because we know it's true. That's why
Yeah.
we laugh. That's why when a joke is bad, it's probably because either A, maybe we've heard it too much, right? Or it just wasn't delivered very well. But
Yeah.
B, it's because it's like, oh, it's not really true, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or at least it's not true in that moment where it could be I don't understand the topic enough to know, right? For it to be
Hmm.
funny, right? I'm not familiar. But you understand like there has to be elements of truth for something like a story to be effective. Even a joke, even even comedy. And what's happening is a lot of the stuff we've been getting over the last, decade or so hasn't been telling us the truth. At least since what, like 2019, 2020, right? It hasn't
Yeah.
been telling us the truth. It's been telling us lies. And
I
because of
mean,
that,
in America, I'd say.
in America, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not talking about all entertainment. I just specifically mean in America, Hollywood. That's what I'm talking about. Hollywood, USA. They've been lying to us, and not in a good way, right? And
Yeah.
so I really believe that, and I think that's the time is bearing that out more and more. That if you get a honest, authentic story that's told, like K-pop Demon Hunters, right? Guess what happens? Oh, it does well. People like it. It resonates even with people who aren't K-pop fans, who aren't
Yeah. I don't
you know,
like K-pop,
who aren't
but I love that movie.
anime fans. Yeah, like it has nothing to do with you. Now, I'm sure it goes even harder if you are a fan, right? If you're already in that culture, but you don't have to be to enjoy it. Right. The fact that the Critical Drinker, which I really enjoy his channel. I like the guy a lot. He's has a great channel. But the fact that he did a review of it, right? Because so much of his audience
Oh
was
my
telling him,
god.
bro, you gotta watch this, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
finally
Yeah.
he watched it and he did, and it was a positive review. He actually enjoyed it. That's like that says it all to me. Like that's a rubber stamp. Like yo, they did it. Right? They broke through. They're mainstream. You understand? Because
Hmm.
that's a solid story. That's solid storytelling, right? And that proves like because they're telling the truth. That you listen, you watch that story and you see the story elements and the themes, and you realize yes, there's strong underlying universal truths in this story that resonates with people, and that's why it's successful. That's why it's doing well. Plain and simple. Like you pick it apart, 6 ways to Sunday, and that's what you're gonna find. So Hollywood, start telling the truth, and you'll do better. You'll do better in the box office, right? But Netflix, are they destroying Hollywood? No, Hollywood has destroyed itself. Netflix is not destroying Hollywood. Netflix is being Netflix, and they're making smart moves, smart business moves, and I say more power to them. It might change the theatrical landscape at least in the short term. Um, in the long term, who knows? I don't think theaters will completely go away. They're definitely going to downsize, but I think what's going to happen is similar to what we were talking about this before we started about how it was in the beginning, where the major studios owned the theaters, and so they were released directly to their own
Are you
theater.
telling me time is a circle?
Time is a circle. Time, circle of life. It's another truth from the Lion King, right? That's why Lion
Yeah,
King did so well.
yeah.
Circle of life. What's the saying? History doesn't repeat, but it sure does rhyme, right?
Yeah.
And I
Mark
think,
Twain.
I think that's kind of what's happening is Netflix will probably, with the clout they're having, they're going to have with Warner Brothers, and their library. And remember, Amazon bought MGM, right? We kind of forgotten about that, but
Oh yeah,
they
that's
have
right.
MGM, right? And Apple, who knows? Maybe they'll buy Paramount. Who knows, right? Um, I don't think. I think Apple partnered with who was it? Lionsgate, I think, or something like that. But I don't think they purchased it. I think they just partnered. But anyway, I wouldn't be surprised if they end up buying one of these legacy studios like Paramount or something or Universal.
Why is it when I think of Lionsgate, I think of Tyler Perry movies?
I don't know why.
I don't know.
Did he?
Am I
Oh,
thinking
did
of a
he
different
come out through
studio?
Lionsgate? I don't. I have no idea.
Because some of that,
I have
whatever.
no idea
uh,
who distributes Tyler Perry movies. Is it like I thought it was New Line Cinema or something?
New Line. Okay, New Lines. No, not New
No,
Lines.
New Line Cinema was like '90s, early
Yeah,
'90s, 2000.
no,
Like
no, that's
everything was New Line Cinema presents
yeah.
Booty Call,
Yeah,
Jungle
I gotta
Fever, and
remember.
stuff like that.
Gosh.
But they did a lot of black movies. Boys in
Oh,
the
okay, I might be thinking of.
But I don't know Tyler Perry. I honestly don't know. So
Yeah,
that is
it is Lionsgate. I'm right.
it. Okay.
Yeah,
All right. So they release a lot of Tyler Perry stuff. Okay.
yeah.
That's interesting.
It's funny. I don't. Whenever I think of Lionsgate, because I know they've done other movies like The Hunger Games and John Wick, even. But I always think of Medea when I think of Lionsgate, which is kind
Well,
of
yeah.
sad.
Well, that's his. That's his claim to fame. So it makes
Yeah,
sense. You know, I mean, good, bad, or indifferent. That's what you know him by. So,
true.
but yeah, yeah, that's my. What do you guys think about this purchase, this acquisition? Now, I don't think it's finalized yet, so they might. Who knows? Anything can happen. Maybe because I know Paramount is going to try and contest, so maybe Paramount will end up.
Well, I mean, nothing. This doesn't affect me. I don't watch Netflix. I don't. There's nothing on Netflix that I care about. Everything that
Well,
I
except
watch.
one thing. Well, no, because I guess you're not watching on Netflix.
What? Which one?
The Common
Oh,
Rider.
the Common Writer. I mean, that's true, but I have it's Crunchyroll. Crunchyroll posts stuff on YouTube.
Oh, that's true. It is Crunchyroll, huh? It's not Netflix.
Yeah,
Oh, you're right. Yeah, that's Crunchyroll.
yeah, it's
Yeah, I
Crunchyroll.
don't know why I thought it was Netflix. That's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they do
So
have some anime, but I don't necessarily watch a lot of anime. I usually go to Crunchyroll for anime. That's true.
yeah,
Um, and now there's
and
some
there's
stuff like they had Brotherhood, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood on Netflix. So I rewatched that.
sure, but I watched. I mean, that's true.
And Gurren Lagann, they still have Gurren Lagann on there, so I watch it on there. Because
Yeah.
on Crunchyroll they have Gurren Lagann, but it's not dubbed. So,
Oh, that's true. If I want to
so I
watch
watch it on
Kinika
Netflix.
Man, I gotta watch it on Netflix.
Yeah, so because it's dubbed. So that's kind of the reason why. Yeah, I mean, Netflix is whatever. But I mean, I got an email from them. I guess they emailed all their subscribers about the deal. So,
How personal.
oh, they were like, "Bro, listen, we got you. We got you." They're like, no problems, right?
But yeah, everything because I there's several YouTube channels that I follow that stream anime and tokusatsu stuff on YouTube. So I don't, and there's plenty of movies. Like I watch, like the stuff that I watch is already on YouTube. Like Western movies, kung fu movies, mystery science theater. Just go to YouTube. So
Yeah,
there's
YouTube has a
nothing.
lot. But YouTube is also in the streaming wars. Believe it or not,
Sure,
like
but you
people
don't
don't.
really need like if you have YouTube Premium, and even without YouTube Premium, if you just have YouTube, you have to deal with ads. But it's not that big of a deal. You can still watch what you want to watch. on YouTube.
No, I agree. I'm just saying, YouTube is kind of part of that landscape of streamers, even though it's not really thought of as a streamer. But they've been competing. They've been trying to compete with their YouTube TV and all that. I don't think they're doing very well. I think they should give up trying to do streaming proper and just do YouTube Premium and include all the streaming channels and
Yeah, and make
movies.
all the features on YouTube Premium consistent with YouTube Music, because for some reason you could fast forward videos and music on YouTube, but you can't do it on YouTube Music. It doesn't make any sense. It's stupid.
You can't fast forward videos on YouTube Music.
No, yeah, you can't.
I didn't know YouTube Music played videos. They do.
Well, I mean, you can't. My point is that you could change the pitch and the speed of a song
Uh huh.
on YouTube, but you can't do that
Oh, really?
on YouTube Music.
I've never tried, so I don't know. That's it.
It
That's
doesn't
it.
make any sense.
Yeah, I didn't know that
Just make the feature. Why aren't the features the same?
because they're
It's
not
all
the same app.
YouTube.
They just have the same
It
skin.
is the same app.
No, it's not.
You get all the same. You
As
get
a
all
someone who
of the same.
works in development and all that, it's not the same apps, not the same coding, scripting, etc. It's probably even. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a different language even, but it just has the same skin. You understand? They're just branded the same, but
I mean,
how it
I get
operates
that, but it
behind the
has the
scenes,
same library of
it doesn't matter.
music.
It doesn't matter. It's not built the same. It's because it's built as a music platform. Therefore, the coding and development is
Well,
very
I know it used to be Google Music, but then they
well,
changed it to.
yeah. And what I'm saying is, what they probably should have done was revamp the video, basically copy paste their video platform, and then optimize it for music, right? But instead, they just built one from scratch. They expanded an existing music player technology or application. You understand? So
Yeah.
now you're asking them to make it into a video application, which is very different. That's what I'm saying. It'd be nice if they did that if it's interchangeable, but you know, that's what I'm saying. I don't get why they bothered and say, why don't you just integrate music tools and properties in your video, right? That way I can just do both in one, right? You know what I mean? Then what you do is you now with AI you can generate auto videos from music, like you know what I mean, like just create like
Uh-huh.
patterns and colors or I don't whatever, or just turn it off. Like nobody, I don't think anybody cares as long as they can play it on their phone or something, right?
Yeah,
But
pretty
I
much.
think I think they built YouTube Music to play on like music players.
Well, like I said, YouTube Music used to just be Google Music, and you could
Yeah,
upload
that's my point. It's not.
music
It was
to.
always a music player, a music app. It was never. You know what I mean? Like they didn't fork the YouTube video platform, and then conform it to music, which they should have done.
No.
They literally just built a music app, and then they skinned it with YouTube, right? And
Yeah.
that's yeah, that's fine. I mean, it does what it's supposed to do, But yeah, I agree with you. It would be nice if you had the same functions. That way, you can go back and forth with ease. You don't have to launch a whole nother app. But that's neither here nor there. But I think they should just do YouTube Premium and just throw everything in there. You know,
Yeah.
that would make more sense instead of trying to do because they try to do like YouTube Red and YouTube TV now and all that, and say why are you segmenting all these? Like just throw it all in a basket and just charge a premium fee. Because you're going to keep raising the YouTube Premium anyway. But if you're offering more, that makes it worth it, right?
Yeah.
If you're throwing in movies and TV shows and local news and sports, right? Then
Right.
10 or 12 bucks a month that jumps to 22 a month makes sense because it's like, oh well, I'm getting all this extra stuff now, right? It's like duh, but I don't know. This guy, it ain't nothing. I don't know.
uh,
It's like, do you want to make money or not? But,
I
I had Mecha Missionary's comment up there because he's talking about James Gunn. Is he getting fired? I think he probably will if the deal goes through, and because I don't see any reason why they would keep him on and move forward. And I think doesn't Zack Snyder have a contract with Netflix already to do
I
all
don't know.
the Rebel Moon stuff and all that, right?
Oh yeah, that's right.
Isn't that Zack Snyder? So he's already with Netflix, and now you're bringing in DC stuff. And guess who had a DC, his own version of DC Universe, right? We call it the Snyderverse, right? So could it be a reawakening of the Snyderverse eventually, if this goes through? I
I don't
don't
know.
see why not. If the demand is real, a lot of people speculated that prior in prior years with the release the Snyder Cut stuff was all like just marketing and bots. So you know, I don't personally.
They say that about everything.
I don't want this. No, it was proven. Like they found evidence. What I'm saying
Oh,
is,
did they?
I don't personally don't want it. So I never cared for the Snyderverse. So it's okay. There's, Wonder Woman was great. Um, and I
And
think
that's
he
it.
he
That's
wrote.
it.
Um, and Man of Steel was okay. It's not my favorite version of Superman. Henry Cavill was a great Superman. And that's what's so tragic. He was a great casting, but I don't think he was given a great story, in my opinion. So,
That seems to be a trend with Mr. Cavill.
yeah, I know the whole
Unfortunately.
Witcher series thing. Yeah, exactly. It's tragic. That's what I'm saying. They had great. I mean, listen, if he can pair up Henry Cavill and Gal Gadot with people who have vision, like the first two phases of Marvel, whoever was part of that, right, Feige and all that, man, we would have got some DC gold, man, like for real, but that didn't happen, so it is what it is. Can't rewrite the past, so
No.
it sucks, but yeah, and DC, I don't know. Was it Jim Lee, right? I don't know what's going through his head. Why he didn't just take the animated universe and make it live action. That's literally all you had to do. You literally have two generations of people who love the animated universe, right? Like we're still watching it now. Like how often and tell me, in the comments, but how often do you pull up a Justice League episode or a Batman animated series clip, or how often do you even
I
see it?
mean, people are still
All
referencing
the time.
Batman the Animated Series and
That's what I'm
Justice League.
saying. Like people are still looking at it as peak animation, peak storytelling, peak television. I mean, to this day, right? Like, bro, what? It's like talk about not reading the room, right? But then we get James Gunn's Superman, and we get Snyderverse. Nobody's asking for that. Like hardcore comic book fans, I think like the Snyderverse, but that's not the majority of people in the audience, right? When it comes to movies, I'm talking about
Yeah.
comics, movies, television. You understand? Those are, and in fact, a lot of comic book guys don't care for the animated versions, right? They don't because it still deviates quite a bit from the comics, right?
Oh,
Which is
really?
fair. That's a lot of it's care because it has to be sanitized for television. It has to be watered down. It has to be so when you read the comics in certain iterations, like it depends on what run you're referring to, but you're going to get a very different type of Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman, right? More
Right.
grittier. Like if you've read any of the books, I've read some of the novels, and it's like, yeah, it's far more gritty. And, it's actually good. I mean, they are good stories. Don't get me wrong, but I'm just saying it's different from the television versions, right? For obvious reasons. But it's like, still, why not just pull from that, you know, and do your movies, and you can throw back in some of the grittiness, right? But I don't know. It's just it's frustrating to say the least. So yeah, it's kind of wild. But yeah, I wanted to watch a couple of trailers just because it kind of caught my eye, and I didn't even know
Oh
this was the
boy.
thing. But it's supposed to be coming out
What's supposed to be coming out?
Five Nights at Freddy's.
Oh yeah, they're
Two?
making another one. Yeah, too. I think it came out already.
No, I think it's coming out December. Yeah, it actually just came out.
It is December.
No, yeah, like
Yeah.
December 20th or something. But it came out yesterday.
That's funny.
Actually, I meant the other December.
Oh, okay.
That December, not this December.
My bad.
Yeah, come on, man, keep up. All right, here we go.
Freddy Fazbear's Pizza.
Definitely not the Freddy's I remember.
You're thinking of the franchise location. This is the original. Nobody's been here for decades. Some little girl got murdered here. Do you guys hear that?
Hear what?
So this is what it's like? Being normal?
I think we've come pretty far, considering what we've been through.
How's Abby?
Some days she's good. Some days she misses her friends.
This story that you're gonna fix those animatronics? It's only giving her false hope.
Can any of you hear me?
Abby, help us. Come find us. I will show you the way.
Oh no.
They're out there, Mike.
Where?
Everywhere.
Where are you gonna run to? I'm not done with you.
There's no way that'll work.
All right, so that just dropped yesterday, so we'll see how it does by Monday, right? So for the weekend. What do you think? This is a game that you've played, right? Are you there? Can you hear me? Okay, I guess he's having some technical difficulties.
Sorry, my
But
mic, but
oh, okay.
what I was saying was it looks so. Correct me if I'm wrong. Hardcore Freddy. I don't know. No, the trailer did not scare me, but it looks like they're combining um, sister location and obviously the second game, just because there's a good mix of the different types of animatronics here, but also I think the guy should be worried about the fact that she's literally building her own versions of the Freddy animatronics. Like she was in the earlier the trailer, the little girl was like building like a Chica thing.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, you didn't see that? Or not? A little further.
I don't think I knew
Oh,
which.
there's the doll. No, when they're talking about when they show her and she's like, oh, she's getting better.
Come
It's
pretty
like
far,
it's like halfway through.
considering what we've been through.
How's Abby?
Oh, you're right. It's just
Some
located as
days
the white
she-
robots. Yeah, like she built that. I think he should be worried.
That's kind of creepy. Yeah.
Yeah, look at her. She's building the
He's
stuff.
just building animatronics. Well, but at this stage, though, would they
Oh,
know
they're all
that
from FNAF 2? Okay.
they're haunted or something, or
Would they do what?
would they actually know that they're haunted or whatever? That there's like for all I know, she's just a smart kid putting together.
Well,
some-
sure, but with the context of the first movie, and they all met the ghosts. They all met the animatronics. So it's like they should be concerned.
Oh,
Also, why?
so they've already encountered.
Yeah, they've already encountered Freddy and all the
So it's like, like you probably shouldn't be doing this.
yeah.
Like, don't you remember?
Yeah, it's like, why are you letting her build this stuff?
Yeah, that is weird. All right. Yeah,
So,
I'm not a
I
Five
don't-
Nights at Freddy person, so I don't know. I know you guys, you and your brother played the game, so
Yeah.
I figured, check it out. Did you see the first movie?
I did. It was pretty funny. I did not think it was scary, but it was entertaining.
I heard the game is still far more scary than the movie was.
Yeah. Well, if the atmosphere. Well, here's the thing: the atmosphere in the movies is a lot more tongue in cheek. There's definitely some spooky moments, but the atmosphere is a lot different in the games than it is the movie. Like just from this trailer, like it's definitely like it feels like a stereotypical like horror trailer, but like it's meant to be. Like it's kind of hard to deviate from what you expect from like a horror movie trailer, but I don't know.
I mean, it's definitely sort of paint by numbers at this point. Yeah, it doesn't look like anything exceptionally unique until you get to the animatronics, obviously.
Yeah. The animatronics look really good though, and it's going to be interesting to see other people react to, the Freddy walking outside and stuff like that. Because I don't think that really happens.
The facility, like it's not just inside the haunted Chuck E. Cheese or whatever.
Well, yeah. Well, normally in the games they're just in the restaurant.
So they're probably gonna leave. Kind of like makes me think of a regular show. Remember that episode?
Well, yeah. I mean, that's probably what it was based off.
Yes, I didn't know what it was. I was thinking Chuck E. Cheese. That was my point of reference when I saw the episode.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Making fun of Chuck E. Cheese, right? But
I mean, it's probably a mix of both. But yeah, it's definitely a Five Nights at Freddy's.
Five Nights at Freddy's later.
Yeah. And they're all mobsters. It was stupid.
Yeah, they were like mobsters. Hey, what the?
Yeah, it was great.
But all right, but yeah, it looks pretty interesting. So I'm interested because I'm like, maybe I'll watch it. I'm not usually a horror person though. So
yeah, I think the scariest part of the movie will probably be William Afton because he's technically still alive somehow in the suit. And yeah, it's gonna look Shaggy's gonna look very creepy. Also, it feels weird because it's Shaggy. He's Shaggy. He's Shaggy Rogers, the actor.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm not gonna unsee that. But yeah, it's yeah. It'll probably be a fun watch though.
Did the commissioner said, did the trailer scare you?
Yeah, I said no. No, it did not. My mic was just muted.
Oh, yeah. I know he was like hiding behind the sofa.
No.
It's like, what happened? Where'd you go? Yeah. Oh, that's funny. All right, well, moving on. I want to do this trailer, which is the Avatar trailer.
Oh, which Avatar?
The third one. It's supposed to be coming out this month. So.
Oh, the blue people.
Yeah, the blue
I think
people.
I think we saw this already, didn't we?
The 3 we did.
Yeah.
Well, this is the I think the latest trailer. You tell me if you've seen it already.
The strength of the ancestors is here.
You cannot live like this, baby. In hate.
If there's something you can do, then you must do it. The children. No, Spider. And we will find another way. Your goddess has no dominion here.
Yeah, 19th.
Listen,
Yeah, I've seen this before. So.
I
mean,
I don't know. I'm not sold.
Yeah, I was gonna say I liked
Like-
the first movie and I watched the second movie and I liked it too. I watched it at home though. I didn't watch it in the theaters. And it was a good watch. You know, like I can't say anything really bad about the second one. I was like, oh, okay, it was a story. It was about family and all this kind of stuff, and there was conflict. But
Yeah.
it still feels like I don't know, like it doesn't move the meter. You know what I'm saying? Like the barometer isn't moving. It's kind
Well,
of
I
like,
mean, with dialogue like that, that doesn't surprise me. Like, it was the most by the numbers like dialogue I've ever heard. If you must do something, then do it. And I'm like, okay, you know, like everything just felt like, you know, the chosen one. You know, I obviously it's out of context, but it's just they chose the most generic things that you hear.
yeah. I was
in every
watching
single movie
I think
to
it was
put in the trailer.
I was watching Film Thread and he made a comment like it's because he's seen it. He's already seen like pre-screening. So
Oh, okay.
and he's what did he say? He said it's basically Smith Family Robinson in space, right?
I mean, that sounds
Right.
cool.
And I thought, okay, because that's kind of the most vanilla explanation you can hear. You can say about this, like it's Smith and Smith Family Robinson is a great story series, you know, but it's like it's very Americana, you know, and I think that's part of what's happening here with Avatar. Um, it's taking sort of American style tropes, you know, stories, and it's giving it this veneer of space odyssey, right? And but it's not even in space; it's on a different planet.
Yeah.
So it's like you're not even really in space. Like I think they're like in the second one, they only show like one scene where they were in orbit, you know, and then after that, everything happens on the planet. And I think that may be part of the reason why it doesn't feel, or I guess you don't really feel the epicness of it. Like the first one felt like it was going to be something until you watched it. Then you're like, oh, that's all it was.
Yeah.
Like it was like, oh, that's all it was.
Oh,
It was
it's
a story.
Pocahontas. Cool.
Yeah, it's basically a Pocahontas type of story.
Well, here's the thing. It's not even just that though. It's like the environments in the world when you first watch Avatar look awesome, like undeniably.
Yeah, it was
But
amazing.
then you watch, I'm looking at this 3 movies later, and I'm like, well, it still looks like the same exact
Yeah, right.
environment from
Listen,
the last
but
movie. Like they didn't bother expanding on anything.
no, they expanded, but it's all
Right,
sort of
but you
under the
don't.
hood. It's like having a brand new, beautiful, restored, classic car, and on the surface, it's like, man, that looks amazing, right? When you first look at it, then after having it a while, it's like, okay, yeah, it still looks amazing, but it's the same amazing. But then you haven't popped the hood, and under the hood, there's this brand new, sparkling, clean engine with all these cool bells and whistles and chrome and colors and
Right, but
things.
I don't want to see a refurbished
And
car. I want to see a new car.
I know, but that's my point. That's everything's under the hood, where it's like they innovated so many things technology wise in relation to entertainment, editing, computer graphics, VFX, motion capture, lighting. Like you go on, it's just like Star Wars and George Lucas, right? Like, um, he innovated so many things from producing the Star Wars movies, right? Lighting and visual effects and things like that. And then that led to ILM being formed and computer graphics, and then that led to Pixar and all these different. You understand? It's like
I
all
get
these
that, but
things.
that's not really my. That's not
You
really my
don't see
point.
that. Well, it is a point, because what I'm saying is it is innovative, and there are things that have changed. It's just it's all under the hood, so you can't really appreciate it unless you know about it. And that's kind of what I'm saying. That's the problem. It's like
But
visual
that's
aesthetic and fidelity is pretty much the same. It is, if you compare apples to apples, the last 2 movies look breathtakingly way better than the first movie. Like it really, you can see the difference. But so what? Because the
but that's
story
my point
that's
though. That's
elevated. It's
well,
kind of like
let me just use the Star Wars as an example. Then this is what I'm talking about. Like in the first Star Wars, you start off in the desert, you go to space, you see, like I said, you see a desert planet. You go, yeah, you see the Death Star, stuff like that. In the second movie, you start off in a snowy planet. It's a different environment. We're going to different worlds now, right? Then they go into a swampy jungle. Um, in the third movie, it's like a forest, like Smurf type of planet, right? I forgot what those things were called, right?
sure.
It's different. No, the little furry bear things. Come on, Dad.
Oh,
You know what I'm talking about?
Ewoks.
Yeah, the Ewoks.
Yeah.
Like there's different environments
No,
in every movie,
I get what you're saying.
and they're in the trailer they keep showing the same type of environment that I saw in the last movie. Like it doesn't like
Well,
graphical
listen,
quality doesn't really matter at that point
well,
if
in the second
if
movie,
the art direction is stagnant.
no, I disagree with that. The art direction is phenomenal. That's not the problem. The problem is that the story and specifically the character development is not compelling. It just isn't. It's just not a. And I think part of it is, um, I think in the second movie he tried to do too much, and he made this very long movie, and it didn't have to be that long. It could have been an hour
Well,
and
none of
an
those
hour and
movies
a
have
half.
to be long.
Yeah, well, that's my point though. It's like if he focused on a more concise story that allowed the audience to kind of fill in the blank, I think he would have told a more compelling story, and it would have went a lot further. And then he could have wrapped it up in the third movie. And I think that's a big part of the problem is the story just isn't compelling. The characters just seem very flat. They're not bad characters, and they're not characters that you dislike. I can honestly say I like the vast majority of the characters, even the new characters that he introduced in the second movie. They're not. None of them are unlikable. You understand? Like none of them turn me away from the story or make me. Nothing happens in the story that makes me feel like, oh, that's just ridiculous. Like it's like no, it's kind of like it all seems and feels plausible, but it's just not compelling. And I think that's the part where James Cameron is falling short is the storytelling. It's just not. It's very sort of theatrical, like a live play. Like very dramatic, but I think he may be allowing for too much subtext and too much nuance, and it's like, give us something to really latch onto. And the other part of it too is there aren't any real stakes, right? He
Yeah.
removed those in the first movie where he brought the main character back. Remember, the main character died, right? I think he died because he fought the general or whatever, right,
Yeah.
in the mech, and he couldn't breathe, the air, obviously, and I think he ended up like passing out, and so it looked like he died, and the Navi girl tried to get to him, and he didn't get to him in time, and that would have been a really compelling ending, right, where they fight off the invaders, they protect their territory, whatever, and Sully dies a hero, right,
Right.
because he helped save these people, he helped this tribe, but instead they brought him back at the end. Remember, he woke up,
Yeah.
and he woke up in the Avatar body, right? So
Right.
now he's a family man and all this kind of stuff, but he's an Avatar, Navi, or whatever. And it's like, okay, I guess,
Avatar.
yeah, yeah, I know, yeah. Or I mean, he is Avatar. That's kind of what it is. It's Avatar, but
Oh, I know.
it's like I think he kind of ruined it by doing that, right? Versus continuing the story where maybe someone else, maybe another brother, maybe the father, maybe a friend, comes into to the scene and you know picks up the torch or something. I don't know, but I'm just saying, like, I think that kind of diminished things. And then Sigourney Weaver, same thing. She was supposed to die, and they
Oh, really?
cloned her in the second movie, and she's part of the spirit of the
Oh, my
tree and
goodness.
all this kind of stuff. Yeah, so she didn't come back as the avatar, as her avatar. She was in the tree, or whatever, the spirit tree.
Oh, what an
And
upgrade.
but then they cloned her, so now she's a clone, but she's an avatar. She's a Navi or whatever, right?
What?
So, yeah, so it's like, okay, why? I don't know. It doesn't make a lot of sense. Or was she a clone,
It
or
sounds like it doesn't.
was she? No, it was like her daughter or something. It was something like, yeah, they did some weird backstory where her and one of the lab guys hook up. It was something like that. I think it's a daughter. I don't know. I don't remember. It was That's how kind of bland it was. Like, it wasn't even a compelling reveal. So, but all I'm saying is, like, it's like things are just happening, but none of what's happening has any significance or meaning to the overall story, right?
Yeah,
Other
it sure feels like it.
main characters who for some reason they're forced to leave, and they settle at a whole other side of the planet, and they're water based people, so they do everything. They have gills and they swim, they can breathe underwater for long periods, all this kind of stuff, but they
Right.
still look like Navi, right? They're still the same, they're just slightly different. And so now they have to work together because it's a slightly different culture, and that's all interesting. That's the thing, it's all very interesting. But
Mhm.
it's like, but where's this going? I don't know. Like, what does it matter in the whole scheme of the story in relation to the military who's still trying to hunt you down because he wants to get revenge or something, and the corporation that's still, now they're mining sea life or something like that, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like, so, and I think that it's like, it's a good watch, but it's a forgettable watch. And I think part of it kind of goes back to what I was saying about
I don't
inject
know. If it's
theology.
a forgettable watch, like the
Let's-
worst thing a movie could be is forgettable.
No, but listen to what I'm saying. It's I think he's injecting a lot of his ideology, which I think he is a big environmentalist type of person, and he's doing a better job at it than most. But because there is this hyper emphasis on sort of whatever like nature, I guess, and all these things, it's like the story still suffers. You understand? Like, it still suffers because he's paying more attention to the visuals and to sort of the messaging versus, even though the messaging is still more subtle and nuanced, right? It's not in your face per se. It's there though. You see it. Like, say the nature is beautiful. Nature is powerful, whatever, right? Be connected to nature and all this kind of stuff. But it's like, okay, that's nice, but I still want a story, right? I still want something that's like I'm going to be thinking about after, like for hours after, like, oh man, what about this? What, like to this day, right? In contrast, I still think about the series Gurren Lagann and about all the different things from various episodes that was mentioned, that was done, the characters, and I can always find a nugget where it's like, yo, I didn't even realize that
Yeah.
they use these terms for this, and it means this in real life, and it just and is a parallel there. I could go on like quantum physics is mentioned, all the spiritual dynamics are like I
Yeah.
go on and on about Gurren Lagann because it's memorable, and because there's so much subtext and nuance in the story as in a very compelling and beautifully executed story. You understand? Like, and
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. Like, because it was so well executed, that all the goodies in there, right? The subtext and even the things that the authors probably didn't intend, right? That were kind of accidental, incidental, right? It's all in there to pick apart and have fun with because they executed a very powerful and compelling story, right?
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying with Avatar. It's not moving the needle, right? It's just kind of like it's there. There's life, right? Just like on the little graph, right? When you're in the hospital, you get the little beep, beep, right? It's there. So
Yeah.
they're alive. There's a pulse,
It's on life support.
but that's it. That's I wouldn't say it's on life support. I would just say it's not giving us signs of a vivid.
It's living, but it's not thriving.
It's living, but it's not thriving. That's a great way to put it. The story doesn't thrive, and I think because he does kind of hold back a lot versus kind of cutting loose and just really going to town and then have to shave it down, right? And I think he's just being too timid with the storytelling instead of being aggressive and like really going for like some type of really bombastic story, because you got a bombastic visual world. Like you have a world. It's a living, breathing character in the story.
Yeah, the
right?
world looks cool.
It's amazing visually.
It's
That's
the
why I
characters
just
in the world to me
about
aren't
the,
as interesting as the world itself.
yeah, but that's what I'm saying about the art direction and I think all that's excellent. Like there's no issues with any of that. It's the story. It's just not. It's just doesn't move you. And that's the problem. Sometimes less is more. And it could do. It'll do well to have less story to force you to give us something more compelling. You know what I mean? Like if you strip it down more, you'll probably get a more compelling story if you just ignore a lot of the fluff that's in there. A lot of the unnecessary scenes, a lot of these visual spectacles, like with the sea creatures and all that. It's all nice, but it's like it doesn't. Like for example, there's a scene where I forgot his name. I think it's man, I can't remember. I forgot. It's a kid who's the son of the military guy, right? And he ends up like, no, it's not that kid. It's the Sully's kid. It's one of his kids and one of his sons, and he ends up out in the middle of nowhere because they play a prank on him, and so he's stuck like in the middle of the ocean, like and of course they're not a seafaring people, so he has no idea how to get back to shore. Like he doesn't know where he is. He has no bearings, right? And then he ends up with this whale, this giant whale type creature. And at first he's afraid, of course, but somehow he earns his trust because he actually helps it, like because it has this snag in it. It's the old lion with the splinter story, right? Lion's roaring and vicious, but then the hunter finds out he has a splinter in his paw. He pulls it out. Now the lion is his friend, right? That's what happens in this scene. He pulls out this. It's like a harpoon or something, and now the fish remembers him, and they're connected because they can connect to the animals with their little hair tentacle thing, right? So I think he kind of does that. So now it helps him get back to shore, right? Or whatever. And it's like that was kind of a cool scene, right? It was fascinating, but it's like, what did it mean? Yeah, like it didn't set up anything for later in the movie. You understand? Like there was no payoff for it. Like, well, did it somehow allow him to speak to the whale creature, and rally them to their aid? I don't know. Like it didn't do anything. So, and that's kind of what I'm saying. There's a lot of setups, and there's not enough payoffs, right? So, but it just goes down to storytelling. It's just kind of a weak story, So yeah, so it's unfortunate, but I wish. Um, I mean, who knows? I haven't seen three yet, so maybe. But from what I'm hearing,
I mean, the fact that you don't remember any of the characters' names says everything.
I know you're right. All I remember is Sully, and that's the main character. So yeah, it's it's kind of unfortunate. Yeah, but lastly, I wanted to bring up something. There's a video that dropped like 7 days, a week ago, and I thought it was a very good topic, and I wanted to point it out because I think it is a problem that we've been seeing. I'm not going to play it, but the channel is oops, I didn't mean to do that. Is Men on Mission, and how Hollywood made friendship gay. And this is I've seen, it's probably the third or fourth video I've seen about male friendship and how it's portrayed in popular media. And this is yet another one, but he does a good job of sort of breaking it down, of like good examples of it in certain movies, including Stranger Things, and he even points out like they went off the rails with it because they keep implying homosexuality. But so he gives kudos to some movies, of course, Lord of the Rings, that do portray male friendship very well. Good Will Hunting is another good example. Yeah. So I highly recommend watching it. He breaks it out very well. I don't know the author's name. I didn't see it. Yeah, but the channel is called Men on Mission. So check it out. Because I think that's true. It's something that annoys me. I see it a lot. Like, for example, people that use the term bromance, right? That annoys the hell out of me. I hate that term to no end, because all you're doing is feminizing male friendship, right? And you're calling a friendship between two men a romance, as if implying that it's gay, right? And that's a problem. And I think, and the problem is for me, is that other men do it, right? Other men who are supposed to be straight men, they love doing that, and it's like, stop doing that. So whenever I get a chance, I point that out and I tell people, stop using that term. It's stupid. It really is a retarded term. Like, stop saying that, right? Because you're just playing into the nonsense, and you're making it hard, especially if you're an older man like myself. You've lived your life. You're not helping younger men navigate this world effectively by doing things like that, reinforcing nonsensical mindsets like a bromance, right? It's like, bro, let men just have friendships. There was a time when you had your bros, or you had buds, or your buddy, or your best friend, your best pal, et cetera, right? And there was never any implication of homosexuality, right? But all of a sudden, for some reason, when men are friends, there's some type of gay undertone, right? It's nonsensical, and I'd appreciate it if we stop encouraging it by using ridiculous terms like bromance. And in popular media, highlight the IPs and the stories that do celebrate actual male bonding and friendship, right? And
Well, whenever this comes up, I always think of this. I don't know if it's a real C.S. Lewis quote, but I always think of the C.S. Lewis quote right here. Those who cannot conceive of friendship as a substantive love, but only as a disguise or elaboration of eros, betray the fact they have never had a friend.
Yeah, I tend to agree with that. It's like you're exposing a reality.
You're exposing the fact that you don't have any real friends.
That you haven't had an actual friendship with another person, and that's unfortunate. It really is, and that's and I don't think that's true for everyone. I think some people use it harmlessly, like terms like that. They don't mean anything by it. It's they're just playing into the zeitgeist, right? That it's a popular term, so let's use it, right? And I'm saying don't use it. Resist that urge to do that just to try and appear relevant or to fit in, because you're not doing anyone any favors, So yeah, and combining names, right? And all that, like don't play into that stuff, man, because a lot of this stuff is designed to just further emasculate men and either emasculate, infantilize, and demonize. And it's frustrating to see, especially to see young men go through that stuff and have to tolerate it, or else they'll be labeled as toxic or something, right? So yeah, let's make it the norm to reject feminizing what is traditionally just male things, male dynamics, right? We're not doing ourselves any favor, guys, if we play into it. You're not getting a girl; she's not going to like you more just because you say the word bromance. So stop saying it, right? Um, and that's it. I just wanted to touch on that and encourage you to watch the video. Once again, it's Men on Mission. That's the channel on YouTube. Check it out. It's a good watch. It's not a long video. It's like 5 minutes long. It's very concise, and he breaks down sort of how male friendships form and how they work and why they work and how it's been kind of mischaracterized. So I appreciate that video. I thought it was very good, very compelling. So hopefully we'll see more and more like that. Because men, we gotta do better, man. Take back our spaces and take back the conversation, right? Where it's not always about being toxic, or it's not always about somehow we're misogynistic because we don't like something. All these different nonsensical things we hear. Um, take control and don't be afraid to push back and speak the truth and do it with love and with authority. Right. But that's all I have for today. I don't know if you have anything else you wanted to touch on. Are you there, or is your volume off again? I guess his volume is off again. Well, since his volume is off, I'll go ahead and end the stream. And thank you guys for joining us once again for another live stream. Really appreciate it. And hopefully we'll be appearing on yet another live stream as guests. I'm still waiting to hear back from the host. And once I hear back, I'll announce it on X and on Facebook. And hopefully you guys can join us there as well on Sunday. So we'll see. But until then, thanks for joining us. We appreciate your support. Go to our website, scan the QR code in the top left there to go to our website and sign up to our email list, and you'll get a free digital comic. And I'm going to be sending out an email to all those who are on the list, giving you an update of when we plan to launch the campaign. And I'll be sending some pages that are completed for you guys to take a look at if you're on the email list. So you got to be on the email list to see pages from the new book that's coming. So sign up now, and you'll get notified. All right. And once again, thanks guys for joining us. We appreciate it. Have a super galactic Saturday, and we'll see you around.